Hey guys, this is John Callan from KHL Motorsport, and I am driving today our daily driver, which is the 2021 MGZS style variant. I think it is about time that I give you guys an update on the car because it is already close to 2 years of ownership, and it has already traveled more than 28,000 kilometers. And there are people who are questioning about the durability and reliability of this China-made British vehicle. And so I'd like to take this opportunity while I take a quick drive towards my destination to tell you very briefly on the ownership experience, and to tell you guys about one major factory defect that this car has. And I think it is my duty to inform you of it, and so that in the future you guys may be guided accordingly. With that said, this is my initial thoughts on the car. Right now I'm driving this car on the Skyway. It's a bit jiggly. The camera mount is not that stable, but I hope this suffices. Yeah, I mean, this car has been dead nuts reliable for the past 28,000 kilometers, except for one major incident which I will detail later. It's very comfortable. It's not so loud inside. The suspension is I guess for me the perfect balance between comfort and sport. It's stiff but not jarring. It doesn't jiggle as much. I think the camera mount, it makes movements exaggerated, but it's not very uncomfortable. The ride is very good. That's what I really like about this car. It's basically a car with an SUV body on it. It's pretty evident that it's not really that high off the ground as compared to an actual body on frame SUV. If it's just a commuter car that you need, then this car is not that bad, to be honest. It's easy to drive, steering is relatively light, and it's very fuel efficient. Long drives on the car, 15 kilometers per liter is easy. On the city, it'll be probably 8 to 9, which isn't so bad, considering that it's a relatively big car with a big frontal area, so it's not super aerodynamic. Of course, there are signs of wear. This is, of course, an old car by now, almost 2 years old, with a lot of mileage. But aside from oil changes and a new set of tires, because I just wanted a more comfortable ride, so we went with 225/55 17 tires from Maximus M1 model. So the ride has much improved. It's less jarring, and we have additional footprint, surface area on the ground, so to speak. For the comfort point of view, it's more comfortable than the standard 215/50 17 tires. We're still using the stock wheels, enhanced with Cone Sport Performance hub-centric wheel spacers to improve the look of the car, so that the wheel and tire package is flush to the body. Not much to complain. I really like the car. It is a very good alternative at its price range. It's a very tough value proposition to beat. For Vios money, you can get an SUV for even less than Vios money. If I had the opportunity and the additional funds to spring for the turbo version, I think the turbo version of this would be better, but I did not have an opportunity to sample the Turbo ZS model yet, so I could not give any firm insight to that. But I have sat in this car's bigger brother, which is the HS, So it kind of looks like the ZS, but I think it's very smartly designed, both this one and the HS. So if you just want a touch more space and a touch more refinement and a lot more fancy gadgets and doodads and features, the HS is not far off from the price of the ZS Turbo. I think one flaw the HS would have would be the dual clutch transmission. For those people who don't know how to drive it, it would be a big problem, but for those who know how to properly use a DSG, then it shouldn't be a problem. But anyway, let me guys tell you what is the major factory flaw of this car. But I have to first contextualize it with a story. So I use this car for towing, and we have installed a tow bar, courtesy of or Solid Hitch, I think is the I'll insert the name of the company. To install the tow bar, it's actually made pretty well because it's able to haul 2 tons worth of trailer and load. However, we had a recent experience, which was this car's longest towing operation ever. We drove the car about 450 to 500 kilometers round trip from south to north to pick up a car in Subic and bring it back down to the south area again. We knew that the car will be traveling at night, so we had to hastily wire up the trailer with lights, which we did, and then we needed to hook the car up, the car's electrical system, for the stoplight to work, for the park light to work, and so on and so forth. So we wired it to the brake lights. Just a few short meters after, the fuse blew, apparently. At the time, we didn't know what went wrong. It was obviously a fuse, but we could not locate for the life of us what fuse blew. We had to consult this book over here. It is the owner's handbook of this vehicle, provided to us by MG, and it came with the car. We looked at the basic diagram on what the fuses did. This car has 2 fuse boxes in the engine bay and in the passenger compartment. We could not locate the fuse anywhere because, unlike other cars, they don't put any instruction in either the fuse box cover in the engine bay and in the fuse box cover here. They don't give any diagram. MG does not put any description on the car relating to what the fuses do. And so during our trip, even before pushing off to Subic, where we had to pick up a fallen rally car, we could not resolve the lack of brake lights. And compounded with that, the brake lights hampered the starting of the car. If you kill the car, you cannot get the car started because the car requires the brake pedal to be depressed, and it requires that brake light switch to be operational. We thought we blew up some wire or some relay or something because we put an additional load for the trailer lights. However, it was only the brake light fuse that blew. The rest of the lights were functioning well. The band lights worked, the signal lights worked, and the rest of the electrical system was able to deal with the additional load. And yet the brake light switch just blew because it was just 10 amperes. And I guess there's so many electrical devices that are so reliant on the signal of the brake light. So we couldn't start the car, and the car needed to be reset constantly in order for it to start. So practically, from our home base in Calamba to Subic and back to Laguna area, we drove the car with no brake lights, with the car that did not want to restart without resetting, and also us experiencing a check engine light at the same time. But even with that addled state, the car was able to get to Subic, tow another SUV on a trailer, and tow it back to the south of Metro Manila somewhere, with a total round trip of about 450 to 500 kilometers. So the good thing is the car was able to tow for a very long distance on highway speeds approaching 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. With nary a hiccup. Of course, we had to be very careful in driving the car because we were unsure of the capacity of the brakes to handle such a heavy load. So we were very gingerly applying the brakes and trying to use engine brake, trying to coast the car and not trying to hurry up. But even then, we were able to make it. Thankfully, the MG is factory filled with .4 brake fluid. So, on that sense, at least they cared about the brakes and the braking capability of this vehicle. But this is the factory defect right here, right? Why? Because given that the fuse information was not located in the fuse box on either fuse box, it's located here in the owner's manual. However, the diagram here does not match correctly with what we needed to find. I had to download the owner's manual from the UK version of the MGZS 2017 model, and that one ended up to correspond correctly to the fuse that blew. And we were only able to resolve the fuse blowing issue yesterday. And basically me and my team, while I'm not a actual super mechanic, but these guys of mine, they're very well versed with electrical systems. Instead of going through each and every fuse, which could be done and could have taken us a lot of time to eventually figure it out, but it would have been way faster if the proper fuse information was located here. So this is the biggest factory defect of the MGZS: improper information imparted to the owner in case of emergencies. So if you guys are interested to buy the MGZS, do download the owner's manual, the proper owner's manual, because this is garbage, to be honest. It sucks. It's a pity. It comes in a very nice hard case, but otherwise it's garbage. So we found the right fuse that due to the improved information from the internet, from the UK version of the owner's manual. And we changed the fuse. I put in a 15 ampere fuse instead of a 10, so that the next time we tow, it's not gonna blow that quickly. Yeah, so thankfully we resolved that problem. I was really very tempted to go bring this car to the casa, but even to bring it to the casa, it was very difficult because when the car dies, it will not allow you to start the engine without that brake light. And we had to reset the whole system using an OBD2 Bluetooth device and using the Torque app on our Android cell phone. The trip wouldn't be as harrowing if we didn't experience that issue. I don't really blame the car because that's the fuse's job, right? It has to blow when it's overloaded. So you can't blame the engineers for that one, but we have to blame the people who wrote the bloody manual. We couldn't trace the actual fuse, and at least it's just the fuse that blew. Yeah, so that's the issue that we have had, and that has been the most recent issue with the car. And hopefully you guys who are current MGZS owners and those who are still thinking of buying an MGZS would be guided accordingly. It's still a great car. It's still a car that I would recommend, but you would need more proper information in case of emergency, and that you cannot get it from this supplied manual. Right? I think it's reprinted. I think it's printed here in the Philippines only. Maybe the original manual's in Chinese. I don't know. But the UK manual was very helpful. Anyway, guys, that's it. If you guys have any questions about our ownership experience on the MGZS style variant 2021 model, please do let us know in the comments, and we'd be more than happy to respond to very good, well-written, and constructive comments. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'm probably a kilometer away from my destination, and I'm seated here in traffic, but I'm close by and almost done with one part of my journey for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video, guys. Ciao.